Welcome to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I'm your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my wife, Abigail. I just looked at you and you're like, eh. You need a nap, don't you? You just said before we started rolling, can I take a nap after this? Are you going to make it through?
Uh-huh.
Do you just need to go take a nap and I'll just handle this
You
one?
just cover it for us.
I don't got that much to say, so I need you. Team effort. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. Doing all right?
Yep.
This has been our longest break since our last podcast. I think about 3 weeks. So for our faithful listeners out there, we're sorry.
7.
All 7? Are we down to 7?
No.
Up to 7? We are back and we are hoping to get a little bit more of a rhythm now. Our craziness of life it's gotten better, right?
Yeah.
Volleyball season is over.
Yeah.
Kind of. Now we're into club volleyball season.
Yeah, but it's just not as crazy.
Not as crazy. There was a stretch where every day we had to take it one day at a time, kind of like in pickleball, you take it 1 point at a time. And we would look at the next day and say, okay.
We would have a 20-minute phone conversation on who was taking what kid where.
Right. And pretty much it was me telling you what to do because you always say, this makes my brain hurt. Just tell me where to go. And then it usually involved either a friend or my dad and mom helping out. But we made it through.
We did. It was fun.
We did. But I do love volleyball. As we speak, volleyball's on in the background. Our daughter's watching a collegiate game between Virginia and Pitt. But yeah, volleyball is probably the most fun women's sport to watch, other than pickleball. But definitely for our girls to
track
play.
and field. I feel like those are like tennis.
Yeah.
Kind of those sports are fun to watch women in.
So hopefully our girls are trending towards those sports.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah.
So what else is new?
I got do you see my DC shirt?
Ooh, nice. I like
From
it.
the MLP? I love this shirt.
Repping the DC shirt.
Yeah, I finally got to play with Jackie and Jackson. You finally allowed me to.
Don't act like that. No, it did work out. When was that? Last
week.
Last Friday, last Saturday.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That was really fun.
We did not play the two of us against them.
I didn't want to.
I didn't want to either because we weren't really playing great. And we're going to save that for another time. We are going to have them.
It was really fun to meet them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we actually went out the night before, had a couple beers. And
they're pretty good at pickleball.
They're all right. And Jackie's like legit better. I mean, anytime that I've played in a group, she's been the one. And it makes sense. She's a pro. She's like a top 5, 10 woman in the world. So, but yeah, she
was holding back, I feel like.
Yeah, you're just kind of playing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right.
It was fun. It was nice to meet them.
Yeah. So, what else? What else is new? You've been doing well in real estate. I feel like you're finally kind of starting to come into your own.
Well,
that's kind of exciting to see.
And I think that's the break with the podcast. Like, I can only handle so much information, excuse me, in my brain at once. And I've been really deep diving into what my new career is. And so, like, I just haven't had time to even think about, like, current events and the news of pickleball. I mean, the news in general, but do you know what we took a break because...
You've still found time to play.
For sure.
But
not
you're
even
not
as much as I would like. But that's why it's like when we have a podcast, I'm like, I don't even know what to say right now because I'm so just deep into other things.
Yeah, and that's fair. Fine. And again, with volleyball and this job transition, we're going to talk more about Ace Pickleball here in a little bit as well. But it's been a busy season, but hoping to get a little bit more consistent. Maybe still once every other week, get the pods out.
Yeah, I think we're going to have stuff going
for
forward.
Sure. Yeah.
We have things to say.
100%. There was a story that I felt like needed to be shared on the pod. You feel like it's not going to do it justice.
No.
And I understand that because honestly, we've been married now 21 years. And maybe there's been 2 other times. I couldn't name them, but I'm just guessing there's been a couple times you've laughed harder, but I'm not sure.
I don't know that
you were crying. You were laughing so hard.
I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
So I'll set the scene. This is like because we've been just so dead tired. I'm not exaggerating when I say this wasn't even 9 o'clock at night. But it had been a long day. We'd probably just gotten back from volleyball.
I was in bed already.
You were in bed.
It was pitch black in our bedroom.
Pitch black in our bedroom. And I walk up the stairs carrying a basket of laundry. And as I'm walking in, I wasn't feeling great. It had been a long couple days. And like backstory, we have just gotten a new headboard. We have a new bedroom rearrangement, which is a whole nother story.
Let's not go into that.
Our bed's now against the wall.
Okay, anyways.
I love it. You're embarrassed to even say that?
So we have this
All right,
new
right.
headboard in a box, and
Yes.
it takes up the whole floor.
Right, it's a long box, probably about 4 or 5 inches thick, but about 20 feet long across the floor. It's pitch dark. I don't see it. I'm kind of a klutz anyways, but the kicker is, as soon as I walk into the bedroom, I'm like, oh,
I think I'm going to die.
That's what I said. I think I'm going to die.
And then
No sooner. I went down, laundry basket, head over heels, like down hard. So much so that like woke up a couple of the girls who come running in and then decide to jump on top of me. So
I can't even breathe. I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Because I knew exactly what had happened.
Yeah.
Not because if you had said, I think I'm going to die, and then collapse to the floor, I would have been concerned.
Right.
But
you
I knew where the box
Right.
was.
Now, if you knew where the box is, why didn't you warn me? Like, hey, watch out for the box. I think you kind of enjoyed it.
My stomach already hurts from laughing.
But it was the next couple days then I was like,
My neck is so
right, my
sore.
neck was so sore and I could not figure out why until I put 2 and 2 together that
I think I did.
it
I was like, you took a hard fall the other day.
it was a hard fall. Seriously, I don't know how I wasn't impaled by my laundry basket. It had some rough edges. That was rough.
Hysterical.
Okay. So if you see Abby throughout this podcast, because honestly, over the last week or two, since this has happened, she'll every once in a while just start laughing, and I'll know exactly what she's laughing about. So if that happens during the pod, you'll know why.
That was so funny.
That was pretty funny.
Should we move on to pickleball?
Maybe.
People have 30-second fast forwarded their way through
Right,
this.
like we don't care about you falling down.
Okay.
You klutz. Those who know me know that I am
Yeah. Okay.
vulnerable
so
to falling down.
You are.
Yeah.
So what do we have to say about pickleball today?
Well, I actually wanted to highlight the Dink newsletter.
Okay.
Do you get the Dink
I
newsletter?
do.
Okay.
And I used to read it.
Yeah.
The last few months I have not. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk through a few of the things that I have seen in the Dink newsletter recently, and some of them kind of feed into what I want to talk about Ace Pickleball and kind of where we're at with that as well. So,
Okay.
quick break. We'll be right back.
Parents, your teen driver or soon-to-be driver looks to you for guidance on safe driving techniques.
Drive Alive is an organization dedicated to young driver safety. Visit our website at drivealiveindiana.org to view videos designed to facilitate conversations between parents and their teen drivers.
Topics include getting to know your vehicle, understanding car insurance, simple car maintenance, and what to do if you just had an accident.
Visit drivealiveindiana.org to learn more. All right, welcome back to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. So I mentioned the Dink newsletter, and you're a subscriber, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the many newsletters and things that come across my email feed. I don't always read it, but I found this last article, is actually a week or so ago, particularly fascinating for a couple of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is talking about the third shot drop, and something you and I talk about quite a bit. And we've actually kind of had a change in strategy recently.
we have.
So you want to give away our strategy to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Hopefully nobody who
They're
we're
gonna
going to
use
play
this
at,
against us.
at Nationals will watch this, but go for it.
Well, so I think a lot of times people return either middle or to the more aggressive player to try to keep that person back. So that really means you take most of the thirds. Well, we decided that I should take most of the thirds because, or whichever ones I can get to, because that leaves you then able to like prowl, like
Yeah.
stalk, like
Yeah, I kind of like
pounce
to.
on.
I kind of equate it to almost being like a free safety. I'm just kind of roaming. Then I'm
Yeah.
looking for my spots. Where can I jump in? I'm going to get burned sometimes where somebody's going to hit it behind me, but it gives me the opportunity to look for that. So unless a ball is like really to me, any of the middle balls we're having you come over and either take with your backhand, dropping it, or running around to your forehand. And that's the nice thing about you being more agile than most women. You're able to get back into position. You don't get yourself out of position that really hurts us. So you're able to hit most of the thirds unless somebody is really trying to put
because
them
when
under my
you
backhand or something.
when you come cross middle and you hit even a great third to that the left sided player's backhand,
It
they can
exposes my
still
backhand.
really whip it around, and you have to then.
Yeah.
So it's allowed us, I think, to stay in better position. So just something to think about,
Yeah.
allowing your either right-sided player or the person they're trying to keep back, like allow that person to not take the third, so that
Right.
their strategy then is not working against you.
Yeah, I like that. And we always say the third shot drop is the most important shot in pickleball.
Yeah, because it gets you to the line.
It gets you to the line. So when I first started playing, go back, you've probably heard me say it on the pod before, Ryan Kearns tells me the number one shot to master is that third shot drop. And so that's what I really worked on. Now with that though, I like this Dink article because it mentioned a couple things, a couple bullet points. It said, don't try to hit the perfect drop.
I know, and I do.
Yeah.
I try to make it perfect.
And a new saying that I have, one of my bosses I'm working with, TK Herman, one of the owners, operators of Ace Pickleball, says, don't let perfect ruin good.
Yeah.
And
So true.
that's been such
So
a
true.
mantra for me now. Is it is so much better to leave a ball a little high. Now we're not talking about missing a lob where somebody's got an
Right.
overhead and they're killing it. But
Right.
even if you leave it a little high, take a couple steps in. Work on your transition zone game. Work your way in. The worst thing you can do, and we teach it day one, it's like one of the main bullet points you teach to beginners, is a ball hit into the net is point over 100% of the time. You leave it high, you still have a good chance to win that point. You're not throwing the point away. So
Yeah.
don't let perfect ruin good. I love that.
Yeah.
And they say in this article, just make sure the ball is descending as it crosses the net. And the trajectory of the ball, is that something you really think about much?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I teach when I teach, is trying to have it cross the net about a paddle height over.
Yep.
And then if it crosses the net about a paddle height over, unless you're being really aggressive, which you're welcome to do that too, it should drop nicely into the kitchen.
Yeah. I think what that also makes you think about is, in order for the ball to be dropping as it crosses the net, means it has to have somewhat of a trajectory to it, right? It can't be real flat,
Right.
or
And I
it's
think
going
I
to be
try
harder to do that.
I think I try to hit mine too flat.
Yeah, and I do too at times. So really thinking about those drops, bending the knees, getting low, getting under the ball, creating that upward momentum so then it can fall down into the kitchen. We played this morning, and I can remember a shot that somebody had that you would look at the drop in a vacuum and say it really wasn't that good because it was pretty archy, but then it fell just
And you
middle of the
couldn't-
kitchen,
yeah.
and somebody couldn't really attack it, and they tried and they missed it in the net.
Right.
And so those are the kind of shots that
Yeah.
you can really, you feel like aren't that great, but still
Yeah.
are very
So if you're
good.
struggling with your thirds, just think about having the ball pass over the net at the highest point.
Yep.
And then
Or even as it crosses the net, it should be descending. So the highest
Yeah,
point
okay, yeah.
really needs to be still on your side.
yeah.
So-
that's true.
But this Dink article said then, I liked also, it said, this forces your opponent to decide if they want to hit the ball out of the air, which would mean they'd have to really lean into the kitchen to do that, or if they're going to let it bounce. If they let it bounce, it's going to give you more time to gain more ground to get towards that kitchen line.
Yeah.
So
So really just that third shot is a very important shot, and we can all get better at it. All of us.
Absolutely.
There are some days when my third shots are just on point, and there are some days that they're
Right.
whatever the exact opposite of that is.
yeah, today. Just kidding.
They were fine.
But the last time we played, yours were. Like that
Yeah.
strategy was working great. So kind of going back to our strategy, like any strategy, you always have to be willing to adjust. There's no perfect strategy that's going to work 100% of the
Yeah.
time. So you've got to kind of make those adjustments. So
But if
today,
I'm making mistakes, you like to then take it. And I'm like, no, let me work that out. Like
Right.
I missed a third shot or two, and then you're like, I got the next third. I'm like,
Right.
no, let me work through this mistake.
But
Don't-
where's the balance in that? If
Right.
we're playing in a tournament, at some point you
Yeah.
got to say, hey, I don't have it right now. You take a couple
Right.
and then give
I don't
me
ever
some
feel
more.
like that.
Yeah. Well, you need to. I will help you feel like that. I will tell you. Do you want to talk about our philosophical discussion that we had
Yeah.
on the way home?
Yeah.
Okay.
This goes, I think, for a lot of partnerships. It's good to discuss this with a partner.
Yeah. So this is kind of more on that mental side of
Yeah.
things. So why don't you
Well,
kind
I
of
told
state
you
where you're at?
Right.
first.
I
Yeah.
told you because we're playing. When this is released, it's going to have been a few days ago. But tonight we are playing against some very high level people. And I asked you.
Driving down to Indy.
Driving down to Indy.
Yeah.
And I asked you. I said, "Will you just please not yell at yourself tonight? Like, Matthew, that's so stupid. Like, you do that, and you're not yelling at me.
No.
You're like yelling at yourself." I said, "But that really affects me in terms of like then I feel like I have to like help you or something or I feel like I have to dig you out of some hole or I just feel like you're mad and I don't want you to be mad on the
Yeah.
court." And so then you were like, you should be more mad.
So that's like one side of the spectrum,
Yeah.
right?
Like I
Then-
don't like when any of my partners get mad at themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a me thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just
and
don't.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, we've talked about the inner game of tennis before,
Yeah.
and that whole two self thing. And when you're hard on your one self, it does not put you in a very good
It doesn't.
mental frame.
And I don't want my opponents to see that.
even subconsciously. So I hear that. I definitely do. I take that as I care a lot, and I have a high standard for myself. And I told you, if we're playing at 5-0 level, like we cannot, missing a third shot is like missing a layup or, a
free throw.
A free throw. Free throws,
That's like the serve.
yeah, well, I wouldn't even say that. A good free throw shooter makes 75% of them.
Yeah.
You better make more than 75% of your thirds or your serves. So I would say it's like a layup. If you're a good basketball player, you just don't miss layups. Like you may every once in a while go in and it rolls off your finger weird, but I mean, we're talking like 1 in 50. Maybe
4%.
Yeah, 4% is kind of that standard.
That's how many the pros miss.
That the pros miss. And that goes back to me to don't let perfect ruin good. Just
Right.
get them
because
over.
you make a mistake
Yeah.
and you yell at yourself
And
and then you whatever and
Right.
I'm just like
I have a high
Right.
demand of
and
myself.
when I miss a third I'm like, okay, I got the next one. Like I'll move on.
Right.
And you feel like you don't think I care because I haven't yelled at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I do care, but I will just remain calm and like
No.
not respond verbally or I
Yeah.
might say like dang it or something like that,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm not I don't get mad enough.
Yeah.
You think I should be more mad?
I wouldn't say more mad. I just want you to like. Sometimes I think you undervalue yourself. Like you're like, it's no big deal. I missed one. And it's like, no, you shouldn't be missing them. You're too good to miss as many thirds. I'm too good to miss as many thirds as I miss. That's how I feel.
That's great.
I thought we were gonna work this out.
Oh, okay. I feel like I am allowed to make mistakes.
Uh-huh.
And I will get better because of mistakes and I will work through it.
Yeah.
And mistakes, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I hate them. I don't enjoy them, but I didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
I'm not missing thirds on purpose.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all of that to say, if you are playing with me, anybody who's listening, don't yell at yourself because I can't handle it.
So basically, this didn't turn into a give and take, find the middle.
No.
This turned into,
Please stop.
I need to just come over to your side.
What would you like
and
me
be
to
like,
do? What would you like me to do differently? Yell at myself more?
No, I'm not asking you to yell at yourself, but I am saying I think you should be more demanding of yourself. I don't know how
I have
that.
very high
I'm just saying.
expectations of myself.
I'm just saying I don't know how that manifests itself, but I feel like it does. There should be more of a. I don't miss thirds, and when I do, that's an issue. Like
How would you like me to say that?
I don't know.
Would you like me to like have some like
No, because
have like a scourge and I'll like start scourging my back?
actually, it's an interesting. Could we make a pickleball? Well, I don't even know what you said. A
Like,
sport? Is that what?
a sc-
Is that like a
Yeah.
flogging
like
device?
a cat of nine tails,
Oh my gosh.
and I'll just flog myself.
Okay. No, I don't. I don't.
Or a
want
rubber
that.
band. You want me to like snap my wrist? Would that make you feel better?
No, I mean I do appreciate you don't make excuses. I hate when people make excuses. You don't like get mad at yourself. So I mean your demeanor's good. I guess it's just more of a mental state. I don't know. We'll keep talking about this. Maybe we'll solve it on the next podcast. But
We'll solve it tonight when we play.
Okay, I hope so. I hope we don't get in a fight. What else?
boy.
This Dink newsletter. Okay, let's go back to that because there were a
App-
couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Apple Watch stats.
Yeah.
Is that what we were going to talk about next?
So fascinating.
So, well, Apple obviously is tracking our lives. And so when
Yeah.
people put in a workout, right, Apple like tracks the workouts
And you
people
can
are
say
doing.
whether or not you want to share your data with Apple. This
Right.
isn't like Big Brother stuff.
And to be honest, when I am playing pickleball, I do not track it. I don't track anything.
I really don't either. So that's, to this point, it's probably incredible how many people, like this
Yeah.
doesn't even account for everybody.
Right, because one time I did track pickleball and I looked at my steps compared to everybody else's on the, like we went out to lunch and I compared and I had like 1,000 less steps than everybody else. And I was like, that's crap. So I stopped. I stopped tracking because I was like, if I'm getting screwed out of steps, I'm not doing this anymore.
Not doing it anymore. Yeah.
But anyways, Apple released some data on there's finally more pickleball players and tennis players, I guess, huh?
Yeah, according to their stats, it says in July of 2023 they released like their participation. So people who had tracked. So again, maybe pickleball players are more prone to doing that than tennis players, but it surpassed tennis as the most popular racket sport.
That's cool.
So pretty cool. On average, it says of players who logged at least 10 pickleball workouts were older than their counterparts in tennis, 51 versus 45. So that's interesting. That goes along with the whole narrative that pickleball players are
Are for
older.
old people.
Yep.
That's
And
okay.
had higher female participation rates.
Okay.
Interesting
that makes
there.
sense.
I did find this interesting. The average peak heart rate was 143 for pickleball workouts, slightly lower than tennis, which averaged 152. So not quite as intense as tennis.
No.
Okay.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, let's hear
You're
it.
talking average. I would say I wonder if tennis is overall.
Average
This is the
peak.
unknown. This is the unknown. But I'm just saying. I wonder if. Oh, the average peak heart rate. Okay, that's interesting. No, I was just thinking it said the average heart rate.
The average heart rate.
Is different than the average peak.
Right.
But I would say to me, heart rate, like there's, I've done no research into this, but this is like some studies that I've read long ago. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a whole method to working out that is heart rate based versus like calorie or miles or time. And you want to get your heart rate into in this zone, and it's not very high. It's not a very high heart rate.
Yeah.
Like there's some thoughts that the best conditioning is more of a medium heart rate than higher,
Yeah.
like perceived exertion.
Which
Keep
these
that lower.
stats did not go into that, but
Right.
my guess would be that pickleball's a little bit more of a marathon compared to tennis, which is probably
Yeah.
like basketball, like a sprint and then kind of a
Yeah.
rest and sprint and
Yeah.
kind of a rest.
I don't know though. Conversely, I feel like on the other hand, I could even say that I think pickleball is a pretty good HIIT workout. You know, the high intensity
Oh, like
interval
off
training.
and on, yeah.
Because you stand and then you sprint,
Yeah.
and then you stand and then you sprint. So I don't know. It's interesting to me. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Peak heart rate is neither here nor there.
But this was interesting. A little longer. People are playing pickleball
Right.
a little bit longer. Their average workout was about 90 minutes compared to 81, respectively, for tennis. My question is, who's only playing pickleball for 90 minutes? An hour and a half. Come on, people.
You know who it is.
Who?
It is the people who go to open play and they have to sit for far too long between matches because there are too many people there. So they should go play at
Ace Pickleball Club, where you can get a game all the time.
where you can play for 2 straight hours
Hey, you're getting the
and
hang of
not
this.
have to sit.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Is this a good segue? Or are we
It
do we
is.
still have
Well,
some things to say?
We'll get to Ace in a bit, and I
Okay,
appreciate
because I have
you.
some things.
Good. I appreciate you trying to go that route.
Okay,
but
sorry.
I did want to, because we have talked about the mental health side
Oh,
of
yeah.
things as well. And they said that the results were impressive. Tennis enthusiasts were 51% less likely to score a 3 or above, whatever that means, on the PHQ-2 score chart, indicating a reduced level of depression. A score of 3 or above would trigger deeper mental health evaluation by a professional. In the case of pickleball, this figure jumped to 60.1%, underscoring the sport's profound impact on reducing feelings of depression.
That's amazing.
Pickleball is the greatest sport ever.
And I think, I mean, we've said it time and time again, it's because everybody can play it, you can go play it. And in fact, I do follow studies on exercise, the link between exercise and depression. And there is a direct link between getting your exercise and having reduced rates of depression. So
100%. Love it. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Ace Pickleball.
yeah, I mean, we're in Indiana. We're
Right.
heading into the colder months.
By the way, I did read on the Dink recently too. What is the number one state where pickleball is
Oh, right.
growing?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Utah.
It's
well,
Utah, yeah.
I've always pictured Utah as like the mecca of pickleball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pros from Utah.
Yeah, there really are. So like per capita, definitely, it's like
Yeah.
Utah for not being like
That's
the
interesting.
largest state, but California, it's also growing.
Well, you
But,
said because all the churches.
yeah, a lot of the Church of the Latter-day
Right.
Saints have pickleball courts inside, but they say that's changing, and that's one way I think Indiana will start to be more seen on that list with all of the pickleball courts that we're
Yeah.
getting throughout the state, and especially here in Fort Wayne with Ace Pickleball.
Yeah. I mean, last winter I tried because where we play now, which is a great place, it just has limited availability. And, if you don't get a court, you have nowhere to go, especially if I just want to play with a few people. I can't play basically, or else I
Right.
go to open play, which is fine, which is also fine. Like I've done that plenty of times and it's
Yeah.
super fun. Especially in the evenings, you're basically limited in Fort Wayne or in this area, you're limited to kind of like churches.
Right.
I literally don't know of anywhere else other than churches in the evenings.
True.
And my problem is my time is money. I am too busy and I feel like I want to like tell people like have higher standards for your time. If you have to change your games to 8 and still sit for 20 minutes in between each game, your time should be more valuable to you than that.
Yeah. Now, I'll push back a little bit on that and just say you're talking for people like you and me that are ultra competitive and want to just play. Going back to the mental studies,
Okay.
there are a fair amount of people who love the social aspect of it. And the social aspect of it isn't just when they're playing, it's also sitting out in between games
Yeah.
and just
Chatting.
chatting and things like that. So again, I think Ace Pickleball is going to be great for all of those things.
Yeah.
It's going to be for the people that really are wanting to get as many games in as possible, but it's also going to be kind of the mecca here in Fort Wayne, the community where there's going to be tons of people
Yeah.
all in under one roof that have pickleball in common. So I think there's going to be plenty of space for hanging out and just socializing beyond just pickleball. So
Yeah, I'm really thankful for it because it's just hard here. We're just in a spot where it's hard to get the evening play.
yeah, and now the sun's
the
starting to
winter.
go down a little earlier, so it's it's harder to get off work and have time to play unless you're going to go play under the lights. But it gets pretty chilly by the time the sun goes down as well. Now
it's middle of October now, and
yeah.
so I'm excited.
I have been doing a lot of research in terms of stats and numbers and stuff, so I want to share that. But let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we'll kind of finish up talking about some of the numbers related to players in our area. Some of them I think will kind of surprise you, and then we'll also kind of just give some updates on Ace.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Are you new to the game of pickleball and looking to learn the basics? Or maybe you're an experienced player who wants to take your game to the next level? Both Matt and I would love to help.
That's right, Abby. We are both Level 2 IPT-PA certified instructors and would love working with you, either giving you private lessons, group lessons, or hosting a clinic. We also offer unique video coaching utilizing the latest in drone technology. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok by searching Hoosier Pickleball, or email us at HoosierPickleball@gmail.com. Also, check out the show notes for all the links to our social channels. All right, welcome back to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. Before the break, we were talking about Ace Pickleball coming to town, and we were kind of getting into some of the stats. So I said I've been doing a lot of research. We've been really looking at the numbers, seeing, how is this really going to work? So here's some stats just from our area. So if you're not from the Fort Wayne area, here's a little demographics. We have about 400,000 people in our county. Now, our county is the largest county in Indiana and comprises 400,000 people. Now, do I think people from outside of the county will come to ACE? Yes. So, but for conservative purposes,
numbers,
let's just kind of say 400,000 people, okay? If you take the conservative amount of people that play pickleball on like a regular basis, it's like 3%. And that's people who play at least once a month, a little more than once a month. Like it's 14 times a year. That number is at least 3%, okay?
Okay.
So if you take 3% of 400,000 people, we're talking about 12,000 people. Is that mind-boggling
crazy.
for you to think about?
Right.
In our area, that there are 12,000 people that play?
And it's like one of those things where I feel like I know all the pickleball players,
Yeah.
but you're right. Then I
Right.
meet somebody like, oh, my aunt plays pickleball. I'm like, oh, what's her name?
Right.
And then I don't know her.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel like I should know everybody, but I don't.
Right. So I believe it's kind of like an egocentric type thing that you think you know everybody, right?
I don't, right.
But we really don't. So the fact that there's probably somewhere around
Thousands.
12,000 people that play pickleball
In
just
Howard
makes me
County.
feel like we're going to be all right.
I think so.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'll be
It's
honest,
okay. It's
there's-
okay having
Right.
being nervous about a new business. This
Yeah.
is a new endeavor.
New business,
Yeah.
thinking, are we really going to be able to generate? Because
Yeah.
listen, and people keep asking about price. The two questions we get, when are you opening up? What's the price going to be? We're still figuring out both of those
And I
things.
understand groceries are very expensive these days.
Absolutely.
So
we
this
have
is
5 daughters.
disposable incomes are not, they're not increasing.
Right, for sure. So, not going to be cheap, yet we also want to be inclusive so everybody will have a chance to play. Now, that said, there's only going to be room for about 1,500 members. Like, that's kind of like what the cap is going to
Yeah.
be.
So when you say those numbers, it's like, that's got to be easy to get to.
Right. That's only 10% of
the
the pickleball
3%.
players. Yeah, right, exactly. So,
What's 10% of 3%?
well, 12,000, 10% would be 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Instead of 12,000 people, you have 1,200 people.
Yeah.
So if we only have 10% of the people who identify as like fairly regular pickleball players, then we'd have 1,200 members.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have to cap at like 1,500, just kind of based
Yeah.
on like models that we've seen from gyms and whatnot until you reach a bottleneck of people. So that's my little plug to get in early, because
Yeah.
I think there could be a scenario, like best case from us, for us from a business standpoint, is that we'd cap out at that number really quickly. But if that's the case, people are going to want to get in
Yeah.
sooner
And
than later.
my plug for the money is like, it is always an investment to exercise, care
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, like exercise, like if you can have kind of a one-stop shop of your exercise and your social life
Yeah.
and
Mental health.
I mean, all of that,
those
like,
things,
to me, that's just not that
Yeah.
much.
And it's really,
money.
it's a mindset shift, really.
Yeah.
Because it's no different than, it's going to be way cheaper than if you joined a country club
Right.
or got a golf membership.
Right.
Or,
it's not Iron Society. It's not
right.
it's not Planet Fitness.
Right.
That's the other way, though.
Yeah. No judgment zone.
No judgment.
We will be judging
I
your
will judge you.
I will judge your pickleball game.
You'll pay me to judge you.
So
I mean, it's not going to be $1 to play like it is at some places, but on the other end, it's not going to be a country club membership. I mean,
right. If
But
you're a player that
it's so
plays a
worth
lot,
it.
I think it's going to be well worth your time.
Right.
And again, hopefully
Right.
soon we'll have some more definitive numbers in terms of,
Yeah.
of pricing. But I'm optimistic that the majority of people that are
Right.
diehard pickleball people will be able to make it work.
yeah, I mean, you spend money on what you want to spend money on. You will make it work if you want it.
That is
So,
a true story, for
Stop
sure.
buying
Ho-hos, ding
ho-hos
dongs.
and ding dongs.
Yeah.
And Starbucks.
Can I need my Swiss cake rolls though.
I know you do.
So I'm going to keep buying my Swiss cake rolls.
Okay.
But I'm also
that's
going to play
it.
pickleball.
Okay.
Okay. So here's a few updates for you. There's a survey coming out that I'm actually kind of excited to see the results. I'm kind of a data nerd. So Roswell in Atlanta area, their ACE Club released a survey. So we're kind of releasing a similar one that I think will kind of help us get an idea of what people are looking for in terms of programming and events and things like
Yeah,
that.
you
So-
sent me the survey to get feedback on the questions.
And you just
I
took
just
it.
took it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I thought you
You're like, done.
And you're like, no.
No, that's
You're
not how it
supposed to
works.
read it. I was like, oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wanted to win a membership.
Yeah. Well, I'll hook you up. I'll see what I can
See
do.
what you can do.
If you're nice to me, we'll see. So a couple updates as of this recording, the fence posts are in.
Ooh.
So the kind of
We need
floor
to start.
has been.
We need to start recording from there so people can
We're
see
going
the
to, and I
back.
think in our last episode we said that our next one might be there.
Shoot, okay.
But when I went there the other day, it's pretty
just
loud.
not, okay.
There's a lot. It's a construction zone, literally. So
Well, keep listening to. You're
Right.
watching on YouTube, watching
Right.
our podcast, and wait for us to be at
Yeah.
Ace.
so we'll
To
give
see
some
what looks
updates on
like.
that
so
for
the
sure.
fence posts are in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The office should be done soon, which
Okay.
means instead of working out of this nice little cafeteria at Sweetwater, the #1 music retailer in the world, that's where we're at in Fort Wayne,
You
Indiana.
need to get some.
They have a great cafe. I've put on about 10 pounds eating food there and spent a lot of money. So probably good for us to get into our office here sooner than later. And a plug for our Ace Pickleball Fort Wayne Facebook page. Check that out. There are some videos. We've got this awesome guy named Nick Henney who does great video work, and he's kind of putting together almost like a little reality series, kind of showing the behind the scenes.
And that's on you. You can subscribe to Ace Pickleball Fort Wayne on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and you can see those videos.
So go do that.
And the first couple episodes kind of are highlighting TK and Scott and kind of the business side of things as it's kind of coming together. And I think I'm going to be featured in one of the upcoming episodes as well. So you can
Do I get to
check
be
that
in it?
out. I don't know. I mean,
I feel like I should.
yeah, you're pretty good eye candy. Maybe we'll just kind of flash your face every once in a while on there. No, I think they'll kind of be telling everybody's story at some point. So that's it. That's all I got. Excited about Ace for sure, though. And that's not to mention the other locations we have in Cleveland and Louisville. So I'm staying plenty busy with that, which has been good.
Good.
But I'm excited for what's coming down the pipe.
Good.
Anything else?
Well, we normally end with something we love.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Do you have anything you love right off the top of your head?
I mean, I love that. I love that when, I mean, this is unpopular opinion. Is cozy season.
Yeah.
I don't hate cozy season.
No.
We got cozy clothes. We got fires coming our head.
You're wearing your famous green cozy pants.
Cozy pants. I get, so I don't hate all the cozy stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if I said it before our last one, but that's what I would say too, is just fall. I love fall.
Yeah.
My birthday's coming up.
It is
I
next
don't
week.
I don't even care about my birthday.
You're going to be 45 though. 45.
Round me up to 50. Shout out to our boy Ryan Kearns, though. Just
yeah.
turned 50. Official 50.
Not pickleball 50.
He was pickleball 50 since January, so that's all that really matters. But he turned 50 earlier this month.
Okay.
So
And
happy
you
birthday,
are-
Ryan. And
yeah.
I'm right behind him at 45.
That's crazy. I'm married to a 45-year-old.
Well, not yet. Yeah, but you will be soon.
It may not.
Yeah. May not happen.
May not happen.
I don't know.
What's happening?
But yeah, I would agree. Fall season, got the fire in the fireplace. Our daughter Hannah would put a fire in the fireplace in July if we let her.
When it was 100.
But yeah, it's
Yep.
football season, sweatshirt and jeans, cooler weather. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Good job.
We did it.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right, we'll see you next time on One More Game. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.